You only call me on the weekends when you're out and about, only chasing highs, you need me.
Hi and welcome to this junk journal with me, in which I will be using some more Happy Mail items. This time I got a beautiful package from Ari. Ari is from Illinois in the US, and she sent me this wonderful package as a thank you for our journal consultations that we've been having, and we've had a lot of fun in our Skype sessions. So yeah, I'm very thankful to you, Ari, if you're watching this, for your beautiful items, and I will be using some of these in several of my pages of both of my journals that I'm currently using. So stay tuned for that. You can skip ahead to minute, I think it's 9:28, if you want to go and go right to the part where I'll start journaling with these beautiful items. Otherwise, just keep watching what I'm showing you, and yeah, I'll see you back in the journaling part.
First time I saw you, I knew all the time it was something in the air that night, and in the way you looked at me. I get nervous when you get close and my heart fills up with butterflies, and then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down. Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart, don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got, the one I've got. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Instead of keeping it all inside. So hard with you, I don't know why. Believe me, boy, I've tried. When you're near me, my heart fills up with butterflies, and then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down. Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart, don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got, the one I've got. Don't break my heart. 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 Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart. Don't break my heart. Remember, it's the only one I've got, the one I've got. Don't break my heart. Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart. Don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got. Oh, don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. You only call me on the weekends when you're out and about, only chasing highs. You need me. He brings me flowers on a Tuesday. He gives me good loving, something that I never thought existed.
Okay, so I'm starting off by taking off this cute bow that she had put on the card that she wrote for me, just because it was too bulky for the journal, and I wanted to cover up that part where I ripped it off, which wasn't looking very pretty, by making a kind of like a tab out of the two postage stamps that Cassie had put in her Happy Mail and that she made herself. So I thought that would kind of cover that and still look cute, and that way I could add it into a journal. So now I'm taking one of these papers that Ari had put in her folder, and I'm going to use that to make a tuck spot in which I can put the card. So I'm starting off working in my junk journal, the one that I made, and I'm looking for a spot, and I'm kind of liking this very colorful one. So I'm going to just glue that in to make it into a tuck spot. Very, very simple. And I'm going to add that this is from Ari, and I'm also adding just the month and the year because it has has a space there to write that. So now I'm just gonna stick in the card like that. Next, I wanted to use this incredible, what would you call this? Not embellishment, yeah, I don't know what you call it. And it's kind of bulky, but I thought I can afford to do that in my in my journal. We'll see a few weeks down the road how I feel about the bulk in my journal. And I wanted to also use that as a tuck spot, and I wanted to include one of these amazingly beautiful vintage wallpaper pieces. So I'm just deciding which one I want to use, and I go for this one. And so what I decided to do was to just fold that in half. And originally the idea was to make a folded tag, but I should have taken into consideration that this is a very vintage and brittle paper, so of course it was gonna tear. So I just went with that and just decided to tear that all the way. And then I was just gonna make one the front and one the back. And I'm going to be gluing those onto some cardstock. So here I'm just tearing off a part of it to have that beautiful lace and floral part centered, and then just doing the same thing with the other. And I'm using a old file folder that I had found at Goodwill. I have a couple of these, and I'm just gonna use that to make into a tag. So I'm just cutting that the same width and then folding that over, because I then decided to make one of these fold over tags that I can just flip over a page. And now I'm just gluing both of those pieces on, front and back. Originally, I had actually wanted to fold it lengthwise, and somehow I wasn't thinking when I was cutting the folder, so I just kind of went with that and said, okay, I'll just fold it over the page. That works too. Okay, so now it has a front and a back, and I'm just going to cut a tag shape by cutting the corner on one side, placing it on the other side, and cutting that to make them equal. I think that's the easiest way to make a tag. And of course, you know, I'm going to ink my edges with my vintage photo distress ink. And I also wanted to just add this one butterfly, which is a washi sticker. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put that onto a cardstock and then cut it out. And of course I'm going to ink it up as well, and I'm going to place that onto the one side of the tag to make another tuck spot out of it, because you can never have enough tuck spots. Yeah, so once I decided I wanted it on the bottom there, I decided it was going to be a tuck spot. So I'm again just gluing the sides so that I would have space to tuck something in. Just placing that there, and then I decided to tuck in this cute little card with this umbrella, which I totally adore, and I'm just gonna stick that in there. And I didn't want to do anything else to the tag because it is absolutely gorgeous as it is, front and back. So I declare that is finished, and since that wasn't gonna work in that embellishment, I decided to just put that over the page and use that embellishment on another page. So loving that. And so this now will go on this page. And now I'm going to choose one of those beautiful postcards that she sent me so many of to put in there. And I was trying to find something that would work well with the colors on the opposite page, with those pinks and purples and blues. So that was kind of limiting my choice. I'm really loving these Florida vintage postcards. I found one of those myself at a Hungarian flea market of all places. And I'm so happy that I got more of these because there was just the one and I love them. This dog is so cute as well. So in the end, I decided to go for this, not this one, but the girl. I had a hard time deciding. So now I'm just gonna take my white glue and glue 2 of those sides down to make that into a tuck spot. And then I'm gonna stick that card in there. And I'm very happy with that page as it is. Don't need to add anything to the background. So next I wanted to use this flashcard. I have such a weak spot for these flashcards. Something that you cannot find here in Austria. So I wanted to make a pocket out of this, and I decided to go with that page, and I wanted to slip in this beautiful card that Ari made for me. So what I decided to do is I take my envelope punch board to make like this little indentation to be able to take that card out better, but of course you can also use like a circle punch, for example, to make some sort of an indentation. And after inking that up, I'm actually gonna slip that page out and sew around that flashcard to make that into a pocket. So that's what I love about this flexible binding once more. And yeah, now I've just gone around and sewn that. And of course the thread had to end right in the middle of it, so I had to find a new one. Yeah, so that's a pocket now, and now I can just stick that in, and I really love that. Didn't want to decorate the pocket because it's beautiful just like that in my opinion. Next I wanted to use one of these very cute vintage milk chips, or I don't know what you want to call it, and I wanted to attach it to a page, kind of like a dangle or a charm. So what I wanted to do was to make a tab from which I could hang that. So I'm using some of her vintage paper, and I wanted to use the part that has numbers on it, just because I think it would look great. And I'm gluing that onto some cardstock. And then I'm going to take my tab punch, which I have linked below. I got it from Amazon, and I'm loving it so much. I also have some tag dies, but honestly, using a punch is so much quicker than using your die cut machine. So I don't really use those a lot, but this punch I use because it's right there, it's handy, and it works really quickly. So I'm just putting that in, and I'm kind of adjusting it with my, what is it called? I can't think of any words today. Anyway, so I am inking that up, and now I'm just gluing that down to the side of this beautiful map page. I believe that was from Allison's Happy Mail. It's a part of the US here, the Midwest. And then to attach that, I'm just going to punch a small hole with my crocodile. I also have one of those linked in the description box. And I'm just gonna use a little bulb paper clip after I just make another hole in that tab piece. Yeah, one of those bulb clips, and just gonna attach that to the tab. Loving that as well. That's so fun. So next thing I do is I switch over to Allison's journal that she sent me, and I wanted to include this beautiful vintage letter. I believe that was from 1909 if I'm not mistaken. And letters like this I don't really want to change in any way because they are absolutely gorgeous as they are, and I don't want to mess with them. but it did have a tear in the top, so I wanted to make sure it wouldn't keep tearing further. So I wanted to add a little washi piece just there on the top. You can hardly see it once it's there, and the washi tape has a postal theme, so perfect. And now I'm just gluing that onto the page with the top open, and I'm going to slip in the original letter that was in there. And there you can see, yeah, it was 1909. I can't really read it. I can read some words, but I love the handwriting, and it looks like it was written with a fountain pen, or not even a fountain pen, like one of those dip pens, which is great because I'm taking a calligraphy course right now, so of course I'm loving that. And then I wanted to use a part of her vintage book pages, and I wanted to make a collage, and I'm taking some of these, using this Tim Holtz card that was in Cassie's Happy Mail. So I'm just gonna make a collage here, trying to make a few pieces work together. And again, I'm just sticking to neutral colors here because they blend together so well, and I think it's pretty easy to make a collage with vintage pieces because you can't really go wrong. And as always, I like arranging my shapes, how do you say, I don't like them like turned in any which angle. I like them to be horizontally or vertically and rectangular shapes. I don't know why that is. Is it because I'm a control freak or perfectionist? I don't know, but that is most pleasing to my eye. Now this is the scrap from the tag I made before with the vintage wallpaper, so I'm trying to incorporate that as well. And I'm loving the paper on the page, I mean the page itself actually, with that grid. Some sort of bookkeeping ledger. And I'm using one of these beautiful labels from Your Creative Studio subscription box. I will link them down below as well. I do have an unboxing video of that as well if you want to search for that. That was very recently. So I actually love all those pieces together, and I wanted to leave some space at the top left for journaling. And this time I didn't feel like I needed to add any gesso because I thought it was light enough that you would see my journaling. So what I decided to do for the journaling was to look up what it actually means if you prefer neutral colors. So what I found was people who favor neutral colors are very careful in making decisions and careful in sharing their feelings. So I thought that was really interesting. So if you like neutral colors, maybe you can reflect on that. Is that you or not? I don't know. Anyway, I hope this was interesting. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you back for the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and keep creating. Bye!